Welcome to the Laughs in the Dark podcast. Spooky you.
Welcome back to Laughs in the Dark. We are back with what we are now dubbing Stupid Guy and his stupid family. We are on part 5. Buckle in, because we're going to be in for it, I'm sure.
I can't wait for them to do everything they're not supposed to do.
Yeah, or infer the absolute opposite.
The opposite of what should be inferred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this starts as confessions. Again, I have to thank you all for your input. I realize I've been stupid and glib.
You realize that now, huh? Oh, wow. We ride parts in, and now you realize that?
Yeah, we dubbed it just in time. We did. I've always been passive, and I don't like getting too excited about things. Thinking about it, maybe it all goes back to when I'd freak out over those flashing lights. My dad would tell me it was just in my head. He downplayed everything, so now I just kind of do the same. But still, it's my character flaw, not his.
A family of straight shooters then, huh?
Yeah, his dad doesn't have a problem with it, just him. I have to take responsibility. So I went ahead and called in a wellness check on my mom. And I went ahead and called the police about the photograph and strange text.
Good.
I called Dad over since I knew they'd want to see his phone. This is where things got perplexing. The police officer who responded seemed to know Dad pretty well. He was an older man, about Dad's age, maybe a little older. I'd never met him before. Dad introduced him as Kirby and said they used to live a few houses from each other back where they grew up. Kirby did most of what I expected from the police. He looked at the photograph, he checked out the text, he took my statement, he decided to hold on to the photograph, just in case. But he said it wasn't likely there was anything the police could do about it.
Of course not. When can they ever do anything about anything?
True facts, especially in a small town. Once he was done with me, he gestured for my dad to come outside with him for a talk. I don't think he realized I saw. Dad told me to wait inside, and he'd be back in a moment. There have just been so many secrets lately, so I listened in at the door.
Does he know anything about it?
Kirby asked. If Dad answered, I couldn't hear it.
That's what this is, isn't it? Sure looks like it.
Again, no audible answer.
What we did back then,
he was saying, but Dad interrupted him to say, it was a long time ago. This here's just a dumb prank.
Quit being stubborn and stupid, Francis,
he said. Nobody ever called Dad by Francis. It was always Frank or Frankie. Calling him Francis was a good way to break your jaw. So was calling him stupid. Well, we'd be dead.
Yeah, we'd be like, every bone in our bodies would be broken.
Yeah, I need to John Wick us so quick. So was calling him stupid, but Dad didn't say anything back.
What the hell else could this mean?
Smart note, Dad said. We did the right thing anyhow, you know it.
Says you. Says me. Someone might not agree. Watch yourself, Francis.
Kirby got in his car and left right after that. Assuming he, and the first question was me, I can say I don't know anything about what they were saying. I asked Dad when he came back in. He didn't get mad. He said it was just something that happened a long time ago, and to mind my own business. I told him this had become my business.
Okay.
It's about goddamn somebody.
There's time. You made it my business. Nigga, what the fuck is you talking about? It's none of my business.
And this centers on me.
Literally.
Bruh. I told him this had become my business. I reminded him that he told me about the pictures he found in that old house because he thought I was old enough to hear it now. He said, I guess I was wrong. That was that. I tried calling Mom to see if she had any insight, but there was no answer. Not unusual, though. I'm still glad I called that check on her. I called Uncle Matt next. To my surprise, he said he had something he wanted to show me, and that he'd be over later. When he did come, What he showed me really shook me up.
Hold on. Did he ever say what the result of the wellness check on Mom was?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not yet. Just
Chill with the fact that she's still not answering the phone.
yeah, he's fine with it.
At least Uncle Matt's on board.
I think we're gonna find out.
We're going to find out what Daddy did, because Daddy clearly did something to bring this upon the family.
All right, that's it. Dishonor. Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe he bullied somebody. That's not what it sounds like.
I feel like this dad is the type to be like, oh, well, you know, I grew up to be a decent guy and a dad, and I have a job, and I'm a productive member of society. So isn't that penance enough for whatever I did?
I'm not on my hands and knees crying about it, praying about it, stuck in the fucking past about it. I moved on. I made something of my life. This world's about fucking winners and losers.
We were
No.
kids, bro.
Right.
It's kids, bro.
Exactly.
You know, it's like the movie The Gift. Remember we were watching that? He was like, dude, grow up.
Mhm.
Okay, I know that my stupid prank ended up ruining your life, but goddamn,
Goddamn.
let her go.
Or it. What the fuck? No.
It's in the past. I know you had to move out of town, but that's none of my business.
Right.
I know everybody thought you were fucked up after that, but oh well.
Oh, well. Let it go.
Fuck your reputation.
That's in the past. Stop bringing up old stuff.
But some people really do take it over because why are you breaking into my house now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's too much. Like, it sounds like this guy, why are you taking pictures of my kids?
Yeah.
That's too much.
Well,
Crossing the line.
we'll see.
But that's why you don't fuck with people. You don't know who's crazy.
That is correct.
What he showed me really shook me up, and it made things make a little more sense. Maybe that's why it shook me. Uncle Matt's confessions. Uncle Matt told me a lot more things happened when they were children than I'd ever hear about. Not that he wouldn't talk about them, but he didn't think he even could. Some of those things stuck with him, he said, and they'd bother him all the time. What he used to have fun doing started to make him feel sick. He thought about killing himself a few times. He even took himself to the sanatorium for a day. I had no idea about any of this. Neither did Dad, he said. He didn't want anyone to know. He started seeing a therapist after this, something Dad would have made fun of. He's one of those that don't believe.
Right. I don't believe in therapy. I drink to get rid of my problems.
Yeah.
How's that going for
What don't kill you makes you stronger.
Got it. Yes.
You're clearly just fine. Something Dad would have made fun of. I don't know if that's true.
I do.
We all know that it's
I read what that's true.
He would have taken your uncle to the bar just to fight him because of his bar fights. He's gonna add it to the belt.
Exactly.
God dang. I don't know if it's true, but it's what Uncle Matt thought. The therapist insisted he try hypnosis sessions because he was just holding back too much. He agreed. What he brought with him was an old cassette tape the therapist let him keep one of those sessions. We put it in my CD/cassette/record player and listened. On the recording, Uncle Matt was talking about the day Flora disappeared. He said he remembered getting a call from someone asking him to come to Timmy's. He knew the person talking to him wasn't Timmy. The person sounded weird and frantic. He tried to tell the person no, but this man kept saying he really was Timmy and he was really lonely down here and he needed them to come listen to the music records with him, especially the new one. Yo. I'm Timmy. No, get the fuck out of my face.
The way I would slam that phone down so fast.
Right, all fucking frantic, be like, oh, I swear I am. Dude,
Right.
Timmy is a
Silently down here? What the fuck does that mean?
Alright, it's giving, what is it? We all float down here or whatever.
We all float down here. Yes, we do.
Yeah, what the fuck? A grown-ass man, too, because Timmy is a child. I just happened to hit puberty. Come on over. On the recording, Uncle Matt said that he figured Timmy had to be there at least, and he wanted to hear the new record.
Yo, in this damn record. It is not that freaking
They're
important.
so into the records. Oh,
Was music that fucking scarce back in the day? God damn.
I mean, maybe.
I had access to CDs as a child. Like, fuck.
Especially with this situation. It's lonely down here? What are you talking about?
There's not a diner or something where you can go listen to music or
Nah, Timmy's house is popping off.
Is it? Nobody liked Timmy.
His house is popping off.
Nobody liked Timmy.
That's how intense this music is. It'll make you hang out with Timmy and be happy about it. Uncle Matt figured Timmy had to be there at least, and he wanted to hear the new record. So he got Flora and Dad. He didn't bother giving them any details about the phone call. On the way there, I mean, to be fair, yeah, he's a kid that's excited to hear the record. He's not going to be like, oh yeah, there was a frantic man pretending to be Timmy, and he said it's hailing down in the basement that we should go listen to the music. So yeah, come on, guys. Yeah, I think he had an inkling how that would go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was very intentional. On the way there, Dad left to go meet a girlfriend or something, so he and Flora went alone. When they got to the house, the front door was left open, and they could hear the song Love Hurts playing from upstairs. They'd heard the song before, so they knew it wasn't the new album. That was good, because they wanted to listen to it for the first time all together. I thought nobody liked Timmy.
Right. But now you're trying to build these sentimental moments with him.
Right. Was there a wait for us today?
No.
Right, because Timmy ain't even fucking there. When they got upstairs, Timmy wasn't there. What did I just say?
Yeah, because he was at the store where the dad was.
Exactly. When they got upstairs, Timmy wasn't there. He remembered the room smelled like burning tires. Ugh. It never smelled like that before. I fucking bet.
Yeah.
I think dude, the music would have to be phenomenal. That you go into a room that smells like burning tires all the time and there's a weird fucking kid.
Yeah.
That's some angelic shit. It never smelled like that before. Uncle Matt took the needle off the record. Then he noticed Flora backed up into a corner and whimpering. Uncle Matt looked where she was looking, because she was looking right at something. He hadn't seen it at all. But there was a man laying down under the bed, his face poked out of the dark just enough for them to see his blank stare and huge smile. His smile just didn't look right. There was no happiness in it at all. He started coming out from under the bed. The man was looking straight at Flora and shouted, "I don't see you in the dark anymore." Uncle Matt stood between Flora and the man because he's scared for Flora. The burning smell was stronger the closer the man got. He thought he'd seen the man before a few years ago. The man put Love Hurts back on and laughed. The laugh sounded fake, like an animal imitating a human. He danced around them, laughing sometimes and then screaming like he was in pain. He kept putting the needle to the beginning of the track and dancing. One time, when the man went to move the needle back to the beginning of Love Hurts, Uncle Matt told Flora to get out. She ran, but the man put his hand on Matt's shoulder. "I like when you sleep."
Oh my God. No!
He held Matt around the neck, and they danced backwards around the room, and over. Sometimes he made sounds like a wounded creature. After a while, he let go and crawled back under the bed. He was lying on his back, looking up at the mattress. Uncle Matt figured he could leave. He was scared to try, because he thought the man might stop him, but he started out of the room to the stairs anyway. He looked back, just in case. The man wasn't under the bed anymore. He'd already gotten up and was just a few feet behind Uncle Matt. He froze when Uncle Matt looked at him and didn't move a muscle. Uncle Matt backed the rest of the way down the stairs and out of the house. The man never moved. "If I'd listened to my gut, we never would have gone there. If I kept Flora with me, she might have been okay. If I'd been smarter and gone with her right away, she'd be okay. All the time, I know it's my fault she's gone and she ain't coming back." That's where the tape ended. Uncle Matt listened to the whole tape with me, with his head down. He told me he really doesn't remember it happening that way at all. He said he was sure he told me the truth, but he wanted me to hear this.
Okay, because that was my motherfucking question. What the fuck was the story from before? Because the story from before wasn't nothing like that.
Right.
So, your sister went missing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't think you would include those details?
Right. Especially because I think he thought they were all listening together, and then Flora was like, "I want to go home."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, he said initially that Flora said she wanted to go home because they got to Timmy's, and Timmy said he didn't have any new music. And so they were like, "Oh, well, we're going to stay anyway, and you can go home."
Old Francis said that Uncle Matt don't remember things right sometimes before.
I am not motherfucking worried about what the fuck Francis got to say. Francis don't talk to nobody about nothing.
Okay, yeah, but
You know who Francis reminds me of? He reminds me of Mike from Love After a While.
Oh, no.
Because he is that same type of nigga, right? Who want to drag people along and give people little bits. And here's a little bit of love, and here's a little bit of attention, and here's a little bit of affection. Oh, but I ain't got to tell you nothing. Actually, I am not obligated to tell you anything. I'm not obligated to talk to you in any way.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you're all up in my business, because you have no right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So, like, I wouldn't listen to Michael, big forehead ass. I'm not listening to Francis neither.
Wrong answer, forehead.
Francis has lost all credit in my eyes.
Well, that is true. However, in this particular stance, he's not wrong, because the dad at least was like, I didn't sit in there and fucking listen to music with you and Timmy. You remember that fucked up. I don't. So technically he was right, even though he's, it's like a broken clock is right twice a day. But Uncle Matt has receipts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he may have got it fucked up the first time, but
he got receipts for what actually happened.
Right. So, like, yeah, Francis, you didn't even confront what the fuck happened. So, at all, at least Uncle Matt tried. I think Uncle Matt was so traumatized by what happened, he isn't able to remember it. I don't blame him. So, what's on the tape matches up with the story my dad told me. So, it's probably right. Uncle Matt didn't know who that guy was or what happened to him, but if he was with Matt and Timmy was with Dad, that guy couldn't have been involved in what happened to Flora any more than Timmy was, or at least it's not very probable. Dad's confessions. Finally, watch it and just be like, he didn't have any. Right. I was gonna make this whole section, but
it's a paragraph.
Never mind. He told me to fuck off.
Right.
Another bit of information just fell into my lap. It's funny the way things all happen at once. Like, you'll never have heard an old song, then suddenly you'll hear it 3 times in one day. Mom called her later that same night. She wanted to know what I'd called for. I told her about what I'd overheard Dad and Kirby saying. She said she'd never wanted to believe it, but it must be true. I told her she had to tell me, and she agreed. What she told me isn't what I expected at all. I guess the wellness check went well. I don't know.
Hey, we got an update on the wellness show, but we're not gonna get an update on what she's okay. Clearly,
but she probably entered the door and was like, "What the fuck do you guys want?"
Literally.
Yeah, because you haven't been talking to your mama.
No, you've been talking to Dre Man.
She said a long time ago, a sad, lonely man was placed in the sanatorium when they found him living in the walls of the hospital.
Wow. Hate that. Great. Loathe that.
Yeah.
Despise that. Ugh.
Do you know that that's what Candyman is based on? I believe it's Candyman. Because at that, but anyways, yeah, somebody, like, was murdered in their house, and, like, it was, like, a whole thing with, like, the mirrors. It turned out that fucking, people were just going through the walls, and they realized that they could take people's mirrors out and crawl through the mirrors into their house. So this lady was dead in her house, no sign of breaking and entering, blah, blah, blah. And it took police quite some time to realize how people were being killed. And it's because there were people in the walls just robbing people from their mirror.
Terrifying.
Yeah, I need to get the details back.
I think you could live in a wall.
I think I would need a larger cubby to lay down in, but yeah, I think you need me personally.
Yeah. Like, do you think, like, you're out of options, out of money, no job, you don't have any other options. Yeah, and you're like, it's real risky on the street. I just got beat up and robbed of all of my things, and I've been assaulted several times, so let me go find something else.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, there's a crawl space here. And then, oh, there's so much space in these walls.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I could. I think that'd be kind of fun.
I hate you.
Can you just imagine?
No, I don't want to imagine that.
It's because at night you come out and like skulk around a little bit.
Yeah.
Stretch your legs.
Makes me want to vomit. That literally makes me want to puke.
I'm not saying do anything to you.
People in the walls. What? No.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying I would, like, want to live that way for years.
With me, you got a better shot of knocking on my door and asking if you can live here than me, and being okay with that than me being okay with you being in the walls. I can't. No,
That's what they say.
even if we never interact, I can never feel safe in my home again.
That's true. But you know what they say. Ignorance is bliss.
No.
And what you don't know, no hurt you. It's like, oh, there's a reason they say that.
No. I hate it.
Yeah, once you start fucking with people, that's where you get kind of in the morally gray.
I get whole body chills. I can't.
Oh, no. Yeah, like if you start rearranging their furniture and shit just to fuck with them, you're not doing good things.
No. Please, nobody ever live in my walls.
I'm just saying, like, and like you said, worst case scenario, that's not where I'm looking for real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, but like if that's what I gotta do, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Sorry. And I'm gonna come out in the night and I'm gonna ransack their fridge a little. I'm gonna leave just enough so they don't have to wonder about it. I'm going through these M&Ms kind of quick. I mean, you sure? Yeah, exactly. Because I'm helping you on your weight loss journeys.
Oh, you don't need these. I would work at you on the phone with your mom and telling her you need to lose weight.
Maybe I could be nice. I could be like a benevolent ghost. And I could hear them like doing that. And I could like, you know, hack their computer or something. And then find out what their email address is. And I can go on my phone and just like email them links to like, oh yeah, there's this new drug. Oh, is this a personal trainer? Personal email?
I can't.
Yeah, see, that would be me paying rent. Yeah, that's my real.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and then they would just assume the phone is listening, so that would be alright. But it's actually me listening. Yeah. And then I would, oh my god, but I would be so paranoid. And so I would have to, I know that sounds ironic, but it is. I would be like, oh my, I have to watch them at all times to make sure they're not getting cameras mounted and shit.
You know, you gotta...
I'd be like a mouse.
You gotta do what's best for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, it's best for people.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
So true. She said that a long time ago, a sad, lonely man was placed in the sanatorium when they found him living in the walls of the hospital. He had no family and no friends. After they determined he was harmless, they released him. He wandered through the woods for days. He wandered so far back he got lost and was thirsty and hungry. Then he found a house. He thought it was strange for a house to be in the middle of the woods, but he needed food and water. An old man came to the door and let him in. He had no idea how long he was in there. Something bad happened in that house, so he ran away from the house as far as he could go. He ran until he came to a little one-store town, Dad's hometown. Some of the children in the town would talk to him and bring him sandwiches because he made them think he was a good ghost. One lonely boy in particular gave him a place to stay. Timmy showed him music and got him all the food he wanted. He taught Timmy all the tricks he learned in his life, hiding and listening and crawling, and the things he learned from the house and the woods. He got so used to the boy, he would get mad if Timmy left the home or did anything but spend time with him. He tried to hide himself as much as possible, but when Flora disappeared, people noticed him. They figured out he'd been staying with Timmy, and they figured he did something to Flora. My dad remembered what Flora had said about seeing a man in the woods, and he remembered the voice in the bathroom sink. He riled up everyone against the man, so he hid even more. He hid well enough, everyone thought he was just gone. When he thought they'd forgotten about it, he figured he could go back to normal, but they hadn't forgotten. Dad saw him. He got some people in town together. They chased him all the way to Dad's house. Dad followed him under the house. When he thought he'd cornered him, he followed him up through a hole in the floor. It took him right under Dad's bed. Dad saw there were trinkets and bedding under there, like the man had been sleeping right under him all along. Dad was so mad he dragged the man out. They beat him up. When they done beating him, they burned him up. And when they'd done burning him up, they buried him. They never talk about it since. They agreed, they just did what they had to do. But what they did was murder. That's how Mom told it. It was such a weird story. It wasn't like her to talk like that. I asked her where she'd even heard the story. She just said it was another one of those things Dad would say when he'd been in the gin. She said that one took a lot of gin. It bothered him more than anything else.
Yeah, because you murdered a guy.
I would say that would bother you.
I would say that would bother you for the rest of your life, yeah.
You want therapy? What a fucking bitch. He's a bit upset about that one.
Yeah, he's a little traumatized by that one.
It takes a little extra gin, if you know what I mean. And also, you don't think that's a problem? You don't think getting drunk and telling people you murdered somebody is
a problem?
It's not a problem for you personally.
Right. Well, clearly it is. She not with him, so.
Well, yeah. Also, yeah.
You must have left your kid with a murderer.
Well, nobody ever said she was a good mom. She talks to her kid 20 minutes a month.
Well, that's true.
So, giving full deadbeat energy.
Yeah. And then when he calls her randomly, she's like, what the fuck do you want?
Right. Yeah, she's like, talk to the dream man. I want to talk to you.
Right.
I didn't know whether to believe it or not. I changed the subject. I told her I called a wellness check on her because I was worried. She told me I shouldn't have done that. Why? She said I was wasting police time. She wasn't even at her home. She was on a business trip.
You couldn't have told somebody that?
Maybe he was thinking, oh, she's like, because she keeps saying, it's lonely down here.
Yeah, because that's weird.
Yeah, he don't have follow-up questions for her, though. He's just gonna move on. I guess this whole thing has made me bolder. The next day I confronted Dad about what Mom told me. I asked him if that was true. He just asked, where'd you hear that? I told him Mom said, I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. He placed his hands on my shoulders, like he's only done once before, when he gave me the, quote, life advice I'd need after graduating high school. And he said, son, I never told your mother that, and she's not from our town. The way he said it, like he knew something was horribly wrong, scared the life out of me. This mystery is upsetting my life and family in the worst way because it's in my ideas. He brushed it off as Mom being a major B. I think there is something more. I still don't know if this story was true or false.
Okay, so then why don't you ask me? Okay, well, I asked her what the conversation with Kirby was about. So why don't you tell me what the fuck the conversation with Kirby was about?
It's in the past.
Well, the only person who gave me information is Mom, so I have to believe what I've been given. I wasn't given anything else to consider, so you're a murderer.
Yeah, you know he's not going to do that. His daddy is John Wick, so I wouldn't talk back to him either. Yeah, he'll take me to the bar next.
Right.
I think there was something more. I still don't know if the story was true or false. He won't give me a straight answer. He won't deny it either.
Sometimes no answer is an answer.
Did you do it? Lastly, I did get a response on the wellness check.
Oh, finally.
They were let into Mom's house by a house sitter. The sitter said she's been in the home for about a week and there's nothing to worry about. The officer called Mom and she backed up everything the sitter said. Looks like Mom's story checks out. The officer who called me said he was running a trace on her cell phone anyway because something wasn't sitting right. I'm not sure where to go with this investigation next. I'm a little scared to keep going, to be honest. Even if I knew what to do next. If I find out anything more, as always, I'll share. And that is the end of part 5.
What you do next is you call up that police officer who said something don't feel right and say, Mr. Officer, you remember when you said something don't feel right? Let me give you the rundown of all the things I've learned and you tell me what you think. At the very least. Get an outsider opinion of somebody who's actually willing to help here. Uncle Matt, sure, I'll give it to Uncle Matt. He's willing to help. He's doing a great job.
He's doing his best.
He's doing his best. Francis is really pissing me off.
And we don't even have respect to him to call him his nicknames either.
No.
He is Francis.
You're Francis. The fuck?
Well, into part 5, we will do part 6 next time and find out
something.
I mean,
something.
For the love of God, we're almost to the end. There's 7 parts. So, please, let us find out something.
Yeah, please. Anything. Right. Everything. I don't far we have nothing.
I would like this to have an arc of they all gained common sense at the end of the story.
Let's working up. At least our OP is working on it.
He is.
He's working on it a little bit.
Yeah, he just needs to call bullshit. He just needs to move. Just start over.
It
won't be too hard cutting off his mama.
No. She only talked to him for 20 minutes.
She only got like 1 toe in anyway.
Yeah. She's not. And then fucking Mom, why would you leave him With a murderer.
No fucks given. No fucks given. Zero. Because the funny thing is, she believes that he tells true shit when he's drunk on gin, and he says, I committed a murder.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, weird. Wonder if that's true. If it's even a question in your mind.
Right?
Which, okay, like you said, she left him. Okay, cool. Left her kid.
With the murderer. Which is wrong.
Hopefully that was not the reason she left, because if it was, deadbeat over a lifetime.
Of a lifetime.
So that was the end of part 5. We'll get part 6 on the next one, and you let us know in the comments how you feel about people hiding in the walls, and or whether you could do it. In dire straits. In dire straits.
In dire straits. We're not saying just go out and start living in people's walls. There was some show on Netflix about that. I think they called them like Froggers or something.
Yeah, they have a name.
Yeah, in the whatever Netflix show it was. And I just, not you willingly going to stay in somebody else's house and fucking creep around. Please don't do that to anybody ever.
Housing market's rough.
Please don't do that to anybody. I get that. Trust me. I understand. But please, I beg you, don't traumatize somebody like that.
What they don't know, it won't hurt them. Disclaimer, I would never commit any crime. But yeah, let us know. And we will catch you on the next one. If you can, listen to us on audio platforms like Spotify, pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.